The following has been brought to you by SJP World Media.
You're listening to In the Corner with Benny Mac. Unfiltered, uncensored, and unforgiving. Here's the man in the corner, BenNy Mac.
Not many days are left until WrestleMania. Episode 45 of In the Corner. I am, of course, BenNy Mac. And it's always good fun to do these shows when my unofficial co-host joins me from across the pond. I'm very much looking forward to talking to him about what's been happening this last week in WWE and some stuff that may not be happening. Tyler, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic, Benny. It's always great to join you, my friend. My tag team partner across the pond, if you will.
Feeling oozy today.
Yeah, I'm feeling very oozy. It's raining here. It's a nasty day, but hey, I can't complain. Any day that you can wake up's a blessing, and it's always a joy to join the great BenNy Mac and be in the corner. I hope I'm in his corner. How about that?
Well, all we need now is Mr. Cy Powell to be the Mr. Paul Heyman, as we keep saying every time we're on.
We do need him to rejoin us, or even if it's you, he's our special counsel, the great Cy Powell. Got to compliment him. I'm still waiting for my check, Cy. There you go.
There you go. He's in there. So episode 45 of In the Corner. We are actually coming out on time this week. It's been a bit sporadic the last couple of weeks, so I appreciate everybody sticking around and hitting the follow and downloading and listening, and hopefully you're all enjoying the shows, the ones that have come out anyway. But yeah, Tyler's back this week and hopefully next week because we've got WrestleMania.
I am.
We've got WrestleMania predictions to put in, 2 days worth of wrestling to talk through. Although, as I say at the top of the show here, and something you brought to my attention, which is quite bad, I suppose, but in a sense of what we'll get into it, which we were before we came on the air, but the fact that Bray and Lashley may not be happening now. I don't need. I mean, you know a bit more than I do on this one, actually, because as I was saying, I mean, we had a couple of little snippets a couple of weeks ago, but we haven't really had anything by either. And to be fair, Tyler, the fact you had to bring it to my attention, I know we weren't overly buzzing about the whole Omos, Brock, and Lashley, and Bray to a degree, but because the way it was set up. Not. But the fact that I didn't notice that neither were on the show is quite bad on my part. So I know I wasn't looking forward to it. But you know more than I do, kind of. I mean, anything you can throw at us? So what's going on with Bray and Lashley then? Because it looks like it might not be happening.
Yeah, well, WrestleBuddy learned, this according to Dave Meltzer. I know he's got his critics, but he does get information somewhere, can buy it or not. But from a report they put out, and this is how come I became aware of it, Bray Wyatt could have been pulled from WrestleMania. What Meltzer was putting, I mean, it looks to me like he doesn't want to say, I'm going to kind of paraphrase some of this because it kind of doesn't make sense to me, but it looks like he's off the show. But it also looks like he's just off of WrestleMania because they're not mentioning his name. See, Meltzer, not to disparage him, but some of what he writes doesn't make sense. I have to kind of paraphrase if I'm having to copy a quote from him, if I'm going to be transparent. But it looks like he could have even been ill. I've heard other reports, fightful. Maybe it was creative issues. Maybe it was something else. This just gets confusing, even for me when I'm in this line of work. I'll just be honest with you. So you'll get secondhand, third-hand, fourth-hand information. It can leave you perplexed. Looking for more answers than questions, realistically. But it looks like maybe Bray Wyatt may not be wrestling, even though, you got to watch SmackDown, Benny. Somebody, I think, shared it on social media. I only caught little bits and pieces of the Friday night program by WWE, but it appears that maybe they still tease Wyatt's involvement, so maybe it's not completely off the Lashley or Bray match, or maybe Bray still does something, even if it's not, quote, a match.
Yeah,
who really knows? So there's just been a lot of conflicting reports. It doesn't mean these websites are doing anything bad. Sometimes they do, if we're going to be honest. But out of respect to the website I write for, we try our best to, of course, have integrity. And that's all we really know. I didn't mean to go lengthy, but it deserves the proper respect and attention. That way we can make the clarification. because it's all trying to get to the bottom of these investigations as far as what's going on with Bray Wyatt. It seems to be a reoccurring theme, and it's unfortunate because I've told you I've been critical of Wyatt. You have, even though you've been a fan of his, with whether it's Lashley and him having a match at WrestleMania. But I would sure like to see Bray have a moment at WrestleMania. As much as I may not get into his character, there was hope when he came out at Extreme Rules, but lately with the Uncle Howdy stuff, even at first that was intriguing to me. But I got to be honest, I've been very critical, but I would still like to see him get a moment. Now, it's a shame if he's ill, or well wishes to Mr. Wyatt. But, what do you think, Benny? I don't mean to, because this is your show, and I want to throw it back to you.
No, man, no, don't worry about that. No, to be honest, like I said, I wasn't overly keen on the whole Bray Lashley thing, because for him to call out either Brock or Lashley, and whoever wins, I'll come after, you better run. It's like, why, though? There was no rhyme or reason for it. And there's been a lot of coherent storytelling since Extreme Rules. Maybe a bit before, but overall it's been genuinely been pretty good programming in terms of consistency. There's been a few anomalies here and there, but generally, this is the biggest one, because I think you're right. I was a fan of Bray coming back. I loved his return at Extreme Rules. Nerded out big time over that. Was hopeful then, I guess, that things were going to be good. And obviously, yes, you got to give things time, as we say a lot on this show, obviously, but sometimes time is not enough. But I don't know what's going on at the moment in terms of him being, if he's ill, like you said, I'll paraphrase, I'll mirror what you said in that, sorry, but in a case of, hopefully gets well soon. But I remember linking in with this, I read a report about Alexa Bliss being off at the moment, but she put out, I think it was on Instagram possibly, that nobody's called me, they know where I am. So I don't know what's going on. And obviously, we saw Uncle Howdy attack Lashley not long ago.
We did.
And there's nothing since, so it's hard to know what's going on with that.
It's very confusing. Yeah, it's an anomaly. Yeah, I think that's a perfect word and way to describe it.
Yeah, definitely.
I've also, heard where Bliss went back on that, too. I did see the Instagram report where she's like, she was calling out a lot of the reports about it. So it's very mind-boggling what's going on, and who knows if this could just be another storyline. I mean, it's wrestling, so we have no idea.
There is always those moments where
we're only doing what we're any of us can do. It's just speculate.
Yeah. That's all we can do, really. It would be a shame not to see either Lashley or Bray at Mania in some rhyme or fact. The match, I'm not going to lie, I'm not overly bothered with, in a sense of that. Maybe that's why it's kind of fallen by the wayside. Omos and Brock, I'm starting to sort of go, this could be quite interesting based on their last, obviously their last encounter was actually quite interesting, to be honest, in the sense of the fact that I know it didn't quite go to plan, but obviously Omos just shoved out Brock out the ring and Brock walked away. So that leaves a nice little, you don't want to give away the F5 on Omos, on Raw. No disrespect to Raw.
But you want to say that for the big show.
So assuming that's, that looks like it's going ahead. That looks like it's playing forward. Obviously Omos was in action is the word I'm trying to get out on Raw this past week against what's his name? Mustafa Ali. There's another guy right there floundering a little bit at the moment. But then he also had Dolph Ziggler watching the match as it was happening. Not that it lasted long. But so there's a bit more going on there possibly. But just quickly going back to Wyatt and everything, they've been obviously teasing with Alexa, like doing the whole Bray thing and having them, the moth appear up on the screen with her a few times. And then we haven't seen her. And like I said, seeing these other reports on like social media, she's saying stuff like, they know where I am. So have they intentionally all been? We don't know, so we're not involved in the creative of it, obviously. But obviously, maybe they've just been sidelined.
Yeah, they're not calling us, are they?
Exactly. We know. Come on, mate. The Twitter's got 85 followers. I know we're getting up there with the numbers on the actual on the network and stuff, but our actual followers are 85. We are getting there. We're almost in triple digits, but
we're getting. You're getting there, man. I mean, I don't even mean it like that. I'm just saying it's not like Triple H or Road Dogg's like, hey, Tyler, BenNny, hey, what's the next idea for this angle?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, hell no, that's not happening. But yeah, no, it's a shame that Bray Wyatt's thing comeback hasn't been as good. But I'm sorry, but when I know we're going to harp on about this a little bit, but a Mountain Dew blackout match thing, like I said, like visually, like I said, I know you weren't a fan of it, but visually, I liked the concept, but I think it was a bit too far that way of gimmicky, I guess. Looking back at it, I watched it back recently, and actually, at the time, I was just called. I think I was more blinded by the fact that the black light. No, I was more blinded by the fact that Bray was in action again. It was just cool to see him in the ring again. When actually you break it down, yeah, it was cool to see the characters and make an appearance and stuff. But the Mountain Dew pitch black match, as we said at the time, Hell in a Cell, Hershey's. So
there's always the sponsor. I was trying to black that match out of my mind, BenNy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to disagree. Of course, I made my feelings known, so BenNy knows this.
Yeah, definitely. Anybody listens to the show knows this. So it's just a case of, but and you're right though. To be fair, Tyler, I wasn't. At the time, it was more of a. I liked the fact that he was back in the ring. Watching it back is not good. I liked the visual initially. Did we need to have that black light on for the entire match? No. Would have been cool to see that mask. Maybe if the screen during that match, maybe it all went pitch black and actually went dark, and then the black light comes on and he's got that mask on, that new mask, and it's glowing. Visually, it would have been a lot better, I think, rather than having it consistently black lit the entire time. Play into it a bit more. I know it's meant to be a pitch black match, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that, does it? Maybe I don't know.
It's just too much. I think they tried too much with it. I get Bray is always going to be unique in whatever match he does, especially regarding his character, whatever incarnation it may be. I did feel bad for LA Knight because here's a guy that they're positioning. He's getting over, and you would think, oh, this is cool, him and Bray working together, and the result is. It missed for me. I don't know.
Yeah,
I get the concept. I get the money for the sponsorship. The only thing I was going to come at it comedic, BenNy. Why didn't the fans get a free Mountain Dew or pitch black Mountain Dew? Now that would have been a treat. Bray just handing out everybody a daggone soft drink and saying, "Here you go. There's the finish."
Even
I beat him. Uncle Howdy jumps out and things explode. And by goodness, instead of getting slimed, you'll just get a bunch of Mountain Dew. You thirsty? I don't know. I'm just trying to be funny, but I get what you're saying. It could have been better. Don't know. It was disappointing. It could have been executed better. I'm with you.
Is it as bad as zombies attacking Miz during the pandemic era?
Oh, no. That was bad. No, I don't know if it was that. Yeah, that's true. That's pretty bad. And Scotty 2 Hotty was a zombie. Let's not forget he was.
Was he? I didn't know that.
Pictures. I think there's evidence. Yeah, and I like Scotty 2 Hotty, but that wasn't too cool, Scotty. With all due respect, that just wasn't. Okay.
Nice play on words there.
It was
the LA Knight as well. I found this out recently that he used to date Becky Lynch as well, which is like, what the hell? Where did that come from? Before she was married,
he denied that, but evidently they must have.
Or at least they were close
really
at one point.
Off on somebody, yeah.
Maybe they were close at somebody. It doesn't matter anyway. Off topic completely.
It's none of my business anyways what they do. It's off topic, but hey, it's hard not to mention it. It still ties into LA Knights. So
right, let's move on. Let's move on to some good stuff. Hopefully, I don't know. I know you didn't see much of SmackDown, but at WrestleMania, evidently, we are going to have Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus versus Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. What are your thoughts on this one? Obviously we're going to do our predictions next week a bit more, but what's your thought process with this, and are you looking forward to it?
I'm looking forward to it, knowing, with respect to you guys over in the UK having that Clash at the Castle, the battle those two guys had when speaking of Sheamus and Gunther. And I can't say Gunther is fancy. BenNy gets the pronunciation perfectly, folks. If you hear me, I'm butchering it, but I will say it's going to be a great match. I like having Drew in it because I think that makes it fair. Drew, to me, has got robbed of so many moments, and it's not been on the fault of the WWE. It's just you think of the pandemic era. He was the champion. He didn't get that crowd, and I've always felt bad for the Scottish Warrior.
I think a lot of us feel bad for Drew.
That respect, yeah. So he'll get. What if he gets a chance? He may become Intercontinental Champion. I'm not going to give my predictions just yet. Like you said, we're going to wait next week, but I think it's going to be a great match. It's going to be very physical. I love that they put Gunther with not only Sheamus but Drew. And I know people are going to go, "Oh, it's lazy booking, it's a lazy finish." Not really in this regard, because why not let these three guys just beat the living tar out of each other, and let's just tear the house down in LA and give these guys their opportunity to shine and have a WrestleMania moment where Drew gets it with the crowd and where we can relive some of the Sheamus and Gunther crowd reaction. But I got to say, with all due respect to my American comrades, you UK fans were incredible during that match. It made me get excited. So that's how much love I'm sharing for the UK. You can tell I'm sucking up big time to BenNy and everybody, but I don't care. I mean it. I love y'all. The passion's infectious. I thought we were passionate over here, but my goodness.
We don't get it as much as you guys, though, do we? So, when you are here, it's like a big party for us. So, hopefully.
And, I don't always put it together, but that's a great point. Yeah, that is a fantastic observation.
But in terms of the booking, obviously there was the fatal 5-way, I think it was, and then Drew and Sheamus got a respective pinfall at the same time with two referees counting. That referee syncing up to count at exactly the same time was perfect. They just obviously, and the crowd were into it. The crowd were chanting triple threat that last week, but this past week just gone, obviously they dragged it out another week to have a one-on-one match. Psychology-wise, it makes no sense. The referee's counting almost to 10, and then Gunther gets involved and gets them disqualified. Has he not watched wrestling before? You get your two opponents, if you have a number one contenders match and you cause a DQ so there's no contender, you're going to have a match. And so Adam Pearce coming out. And again, something I've said before with you, Tyler, and I've said it a fair few times on this show. I like the fact we're seeing Adam Pearce a bit more in a sense of, not necessarily, I like Adam Pearce, I think he's all right, but what I mean is we're seeing that authority figure come out, make matches, or behind the scenes make matches.
Me too.
So I like that now. We're getting a bit more continuity, and somebody's clearly the person that books matches, even though it's a I know he does stuff backstage. You know what I mean?
We at least know he's there.
Exactly. So the fact that he came out and made it in triple threat, it's just we all knew. I say we all knew. There isn't many. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know what everything's going to happen. This is why we have these conversations and we try and figure it out and have fun doing it, but. It was obvious this was going to be a triple threat to me. They just dragged it out an extra week, so to get to where we're going to see next week.
Like, let's just have a match, let the ref count, and then Gunther and jump in.
Yeah,
do a drop
it was a little bit, It could have been a bit better.
Pierce can say, "Oh, WrestleMania, it's going to be a triple threat match."
Yeah,
of course, that turned into Vince McMahon for
of course
some
it
reason.
Did, but
yeah.
Don't worry about it. But
cow, that's good. I want Gunther, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre. Actually, that sounds more like Triple H, but Vince could probably do it.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
So it was it was cool to see those two go at it. The Charlotte Flair Rhea Ripley thing hasn't grabbed me overly. I like Rhea Ripley. But the whole feud thing hasn't quite grabbed me. But it's still good. I think it'll be a good match at Mania.
I think it's going to be a great match, and I'll tell you. Well, I'm going to say that for the predictions. I was about to get carried away. I better stop. I better put the brakes on.
Well, I suppose if you want,
a little too ahead of myself. Yeah.
Pardon me. If you wanted to, I gave away one a couple of weeks ago, didn't I, with Austin Theory to beat Cena? So that's my prediction.
Yeah,
I'm sticking with it.
You did, because Cena really drew the ire of BenNy. He really to where he's all Theory, man, and I can see his point.
Hey,
being
down,
fair.
bitch.
Yeah, even BenNy went to social media. He was getting to the Twitter machine. He was all hot. I saw his reaction. I was like, man, look at BenNy. This has really got him fired up, and I'm all for it because
I'm going to be into this.
BenNy's is what's good for business.
I'm going to be into that because of for Austin Theory to win. So we'll see what happens. If you want to give one away, you certainly can. You don't have to right this second, but if you wanted to preempt one, we got a lot of matches to cover at some point. So it's up to you.
I'll just say this: I won't give it away, but I'll say Rhea has been dominant, and
absolutely.
They positioned her very well. But you're just going to have to stay tuned to next week because we want to leave you with some surprises.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Earlier in the night then, Judgment Day, in terms of the members of Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio defeated Legado del Fantasma in Zelina Vega and Santos Escobar. Not a bad match, actually, to be honest. I enjoyed this mix. I don't really enjoy mixed tags overly because of I'm not saying a man should beat up a woman or vice versa, but because it's a competitive nature, sometimes I think it limits what you can do in these matches.
It takes away.
So that's my only gripe about that, really. But it was a good match. And then obviously we saw Rhea turn back up a bit later with Dom and Charlotte, and it all kicked off basically, which was quite a good tussle, to be honest. Normally these tussles they do to build up are a bit like cheesy, but this was actually quite good.
Sure. I like the interaction between Dominic and Charlotte, even though it needs to be Rhea with Flair. Dominic he's so funny. I mean, he's so good where he's got heat, but you can kind of laugh but yet take it seriously with him. He's got quite the dynamic going for him. This prison Dom part of his character, and I thought Charlotte was about to hit him, but then that allowed Rhea, because I did see some of the highlights where she just got Charlotte, and that's what started the brawl.
I think it was more distracted by Charlotte's outfit, to be honest. If you haven't seen the clip, I don't know what was going on.
She's wearing the yellow or something. Yeah, it was interesting.
It was a bit weird to me.
I'm not going to say what I was going to say because never mind. Let's just move on. But
don't get yourself in trouble. Don't get yourself in trouble. Don't get yourself in trouble, for goodness sake.
Yeah, I'm really distracted. I'll tell you, when I see a Rhea or a Charlotte or a lot of them, I get distracted. But that's for another conversation.
Yeah. Sorry. What? Who are you? Oh yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Who is this person again? Who is he? Tyler. Okay.
Something I meant to mention, because you said about butchering it earlier or something, is that apparently I've been reading online that Butch might be reverting back to Pete Dunne sooner rather than later.
I have heard that as well, and I am actually all for that. I hope we do see Pete Dunne return.
I mean, you could still go like Pete Butch Dunne for a while, maybe. You could be like you could
hey,
do
Pete
that.
Butch Dunne, yeah. Come over here. Okay, break his fingers, will you?
Yeah, I just never understood the character change, because I understand when you bring somebody in from say somebody from AEW comes over and they can't use a certain name, so they come up with a different name. We all know it's like Dean Ambrose going to AEW. We know him as Dean Ambrose, but he's known as John Moxley in AEW. Now, if he ever came back to WWE, would he be Dean Ambrose again, or would he be John Moxley? That's one of those ones where actually I can see it going either way. But the fact that Pete Dunne competed in the UK tournament, NXT UK, NXT, as Pete Dunne, was the United Kingdom champion as Pete Dunne, and then he came to the main roster as Butch. I just think I don't quite get it, because it's under the same umbrella, so I don't really understand the logic there. But I'm sure there's a reason. Why do you need
the name change? I mean, because everybody would understand this is Pete Dunne. Like you say, he's got such a history, and especially with the United Kingdom, the NXT brand, and just in the independents. So I'm in agreement with you. My only tease was going to be he was the artist formerly known as Pete Dunne, and as Butch Jones. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
That's why I didn't understand the Butch gimmick. But I guess the logic was I'm trying to understand it, for crying out loud. I still don't. But is that, hey, we're going to pair him with Sheamus and Rich Holland, and he's got to be known as something different. That's the only thing I can chalk it up to being, but it still has me scratching my head. Why don't you just call him Pete Dunne?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's done pretty well with the Brawling Brutes, though. To be honest, there's been I quite like the group. It's overall it's been a good. I don't know what's going to happen with the group. It seems to be somewhat intact. You still see them together backstage and stuff. We don't see them because of the last few weeks, month, I would say. We've seen Drew and Sheamus teaming more with them occasionally, but Sheamus not with them as much. So I don't really know what's going to happen going forward after this IC title thing. I mean, I'm glad it's a triple threat, as we were going back earlier. But in terms of Pete Dunne, I would quite like it to change back personally. I think a lot of fans would. How you do this? Does he disappear for a month or two, or do they maybe do a thing of almost like a Kofi Kingston thing, when Kofi Kingston dropped his Jamaican accent and then Triple H was like,
"What is Shawn Michaels or Triple H?" said, "Hey, wait a minute,
weren't you Jamaican?" Yeah. So maybe they go, "You've been calling me Butch this entire time. My name's actually Pete Dunne." So they could do something as simple as that, which would be quite funny.
They could make it a little funny, and then he gets all serious. That would be quite good. They maybe make it, you miss him, like you say, make him go away, repackage, do some videos where you remind them, hey, this is Pete Dunne. This is, it's not just only Butch. This guy's done a lot of stuff. He's accomplished a bit.
I would still like to see.
Could just say,
oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, or he could come back as Tom Jones Jr. I mean,
no,
oh my goodness.
No. That would
it's not unusual for me to break your fingers. No,
I would.
Oh,
I was about to make the same joke, but that was very unusual. I was going to say, but you did this better joke than me, so that's good, man.
The thing is, we agreed it was unusual. So, oh
you
my
could say,
goodness. I'm full of myself.
Don't go to Pete Dunne and say, "What's new, pussycat?" For God's sake.
No, don't do that for crying out loud. And I like Tom Jones. It doesn't relate to Pete Dunne though. That's,
no, of course. But I mean, maybe maybe I would like to still see Pete Dunne with the Brawling Brutes, because that could be quite a cool group. Still, I think there's a lot more there that could be done. We'll see what happens, I guess. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Obviously, this is all...
Yeah, I like them as a faction. I mean, I think the Brawling Brutes have been successful. I mean, what was it, Extreme Rules, that they faced? Who was it? I'm forgetting now. You can help jog my memory, but that was a great match.
Oh, crikey, that was a Donnie Brooke match, wasn't it?
Yeah, and maybe I'm thinking, too, of course, at War Games, my goodness, where they helped take on the Bloodline. I mean, so they've had a lot of big moments, whether it's been on the premium live events or the programs.
Imperium they took on. It was Imperium. It was a good match.
How could I forget about Imperium? Yeah, my God, my word. Yeah, that was justified. It was a Donnybrook.
Yeah.
They celebrated St. Patrick's Day before it. I mean, it was going to happen. I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah, it was good. Oh, it's weird actually, because I was watching the Bloodline stuff that I was telling you about on WWE Network. They got a whole Bloodline section. If you're in the US, hopefully it's on Peacock, but it might even be on YouTube, because it's like a playlist, but just put together, and it's all the moments of the Bloodline when it started up to now. And even watching the clip of Jey Uso saying, "I don't care, I don't give a damn what the tribal chief said," and the whole crowd reacting, and I'm like, oh, I remember that, and it's only like October, so it's not that long ago, really. And the Donnie Brooke match and stuff we're talking about was obviously earlier in the year, but because wrestling moves so fast, before you know it.
No, it does.
Well, I've said this is the 45th episode of In the Corner, and we started at Money in the Bank in 2022, so not quite a full year for us yet, but that seems a long time ago in terms of...
It seems like, and it's been a while, but you forget how time flies. It really does.
Absolutely. I mean, overall, SmackDown was good. I got to mention this. I haven't had a chance to speak to you, but Rey Mysterio the week before was named as he's going into the Hall of Fame this year, which is weird for me because he's still active. But then, having said that, we've had Hall of Famers come back and have Edge being one of them.
Yeah, I mean, so Beth Phoenix and Elite and Trish,
exactly. So, I mean, yeah, he deserves to go in. That was never a doubt in my mind that he needs to go in.
Oh, very well deserving. I mean, he not only his years in the WWE, but think about WCW, ECW, what he's done in Mexico, and everywhere. I think internationally, from what I understand, doing the research. I mean, this guy is easily one of the best luchadors, or beyond just lucha libre. The guy's just a star, and so he definitely is worthy of such an honor.
I mirror that 100%. What do you think? Obviously, Dominic's been confronting Rey the last couple of weeks. It's not been made official or anything's been said yet, and Rey has said he will not fight his son. But what are your thoughts on this story? And obviously, it all intersects with Judgment Day. But also, do you think Rey will face Dom at WrestleMania?
I think he will. I think they're doing a great job of building this to where, we're getting closer. We're only how many weeks now till WrestleMania?
Well, we're literally so next. So it's on the 1st and 2nd, isn't it, of April? We are on the 22nd today.
Talk about getting quicker or closer to the destination. So
we're 10 days away from the first night. So I
think Rey's getting pushed enough, especially in that last promo, and even the week before, and really previously. I mean, this has been established for quite a while now, and done well, I think, because no father, as much as he knows his son's deserving of the beatdown that, because he's being a punk, he's having an attitude. You don't want to have to face your son, but he's finally pushing Rey to that breaking point. And I think with Rey going into the Hall of Fame, why not have the match between the father and son? So I think we are going to get a match. I'm hopeful. I don't know.
Do we maybe not have it made official until, so it would be, I assume, the Friday night at Hall of Fame. I mean, do you carry it over into the Hall of Fame? Do you know what I mean? I don't know whether you do that, because obviously it's quite a respectful time, obviously, to respect these people. So.
Yeah, that's the only boundary I see. But,
yeah,
there is a part, though, that's very, very compelling if you don't do something where Ray's doing his speech. And what if Dom comes up, everything seems okay, and then it goes on to, he keeps antagonizing him to where finally Ray's like, it's my Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Talk about blurring the
like
lines.
You say, it's a last-minute deal. You never know.
I feel like it's going to happen. I mean, if we look at it from a purely like as a fan now, like not breaking down story or anything, but how much more can Ray take but if we're looking at it from a booking standpoint, I feel like it is going to happen. And if you're going to do it, I feel like it has to be Mania to a degree. But it's obviously, I mean, what a punk Dominic has been in a sense of that. But in terms of the improvement in Dom over the last year, it's been really good.
It's been incredible, because a lot of us would not suspect that Dominic would have this kind of role. I mean, we all saw the potential, not just that he's Ray's son, but this guy has just, I mean, look at the difference. What is it, a year has made?
Pretty much
ever since he's debuted, I mean, whatever it's been, it may have been more than a year. I mean, this guy has impressed. He's got people not liking him, which is great. I mean, he's being the heel at first. It took me time to adjust to him, because he was such that baby face with being Ray's son and finally kind of looking youthful. But now he's letting his hair grow out. He's joined Judgment Day. That has been a great thing, and being aligned with Rhea and Damian Priest and Finn Balor and getting his tail whipped by a lot of the other friends of his dad's, because he's. They are in a sense, avenging Ray by going after Dominic, but still it's leading to, we still need the match between father and son. So I think psychology-wise, it's been fantastic, because like you said, it's been Dom's punk nature, antagonizing and really bashing Ray and calling him even little man, because I'm a short guy myself, but even knowing how much taller Dom is to Ray. So it's all been very good. And I have just been impressed by his, progression when speaking of Dominic Mysterio. So as a fan, not even from a booking standpoint, I want to see the match. And you would think, how many more times can Ray take this? Even if it's your son, you want to teach him some respect. So I think we ought to get a match. I'm hopeful.
I hope so, to be honest, because it is. I think it would be good. In terms of Dom on the mic, as you said, pretty good, to be fair overall. When he talks,
he's got a lot better.
Yeah, I don't feel like he's somebody reading a script. But even if we discount all of that, because of the way he's treated his father, as soon as he starts talking, it's almost like the Vicky Guerrero, Stephanie McMahon sort of heat. Like, as soon as he starts talking, the crowd... He's, there's the F-U Dom or whatever it is they're chanting, or just booing him.
I mean, they're harsh already. That's what I'm saying. He's getting that reaction that you need as a heel. He's getting that heat, man. He's being a heat seeker, and he's doing it so well. Like everybody, whether you kind of see through those vignettes where they go to his own home and they're attacking Ray, and you can kind of see through that. But even still, that's still getting enough people to, maybe if they don't watch it, and it's like any kind of TV show, they're like, hey, wait a minute. Even if I can't suspend disbelief, his character's still dislikable. I want to see his dad or somebody just
whip his ass, man.
Beat down this kid. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, the fact that Santo Escobar, when that group came in, the Legado del Fantasma, the respect they have for Ray of the Luchador and all that kind of stuff, they've kind of, I wouldn't say they've turned fully, I wouldn't say the crowd is definitely like 100% behind them as good guys, and but the fact that they've turned and they've got someone to sort of, like you said, do some of, to at least have Dominic sort of have a bit of a beatdown in matches, although generally they do, Dominic Mysterio and Judgment Day as a whole come out on top at the moment, so it's going to be interesting. I'm just wondering how, because my only thing was, if they're going to do it, I suppose they have to do it on SmackDown this coming week.
Yeah, I would think SmackDown is going to, tell us a lot, just like with the following Raw as well. But I like the fact that, Escobar is standing with Ray because I didn't think about the Lucha Libre history that Santos has with his own dad.
Yeah.
And we've seen this in professional wrestling. It's been a big thing, and it's very honorable. And having Selena Vega with the whole group, like you mentioned, it's kind of neat because Ray does need some help. And you didn't really put Escobar with Rey Mysterio, but they exchanged the mask, and then he saw how Dominic was treating his dad. So even people that admire Ray are not very pleased with Dominic's behavior toward his dad. So it's pretty neat. Yeah, they're not completely, I think, face yet, but maybe they're positioning them to be more face, because to me, Judgment Day is your villain group, and they're over as the villains. And why not? Maybe it's time for Escobar and his group in Vega to actually become more faces now.
Yeah, 100%. I think the whole Legado del Fantasma group, we haven't seen enough of them, but I think it's quite a cool. The way they were initially presented, I thought was quite cool. How they go from here, I don't really know. Are they going to stay?
I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was quite a nice little. I felt like, because obviously the Bloodline story, which has essentially been going since 2020.
I mean that is hard to fathom. I had to look at that 3 years so far. That storyline has been just
from its start,
doing some amazing things.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, if you haven't seen it, ladies and gents, I'm not a shill. I'm not pushing. If you've got it, it's on the WWE Network. I'm assuming it's on YouTube as well. But you can watch the whole Bloodline story in sort of clip form. There's no narration. It's just looking back at these moments up until I think up to maybe a couple of weeks ago. So it's relatively new. You know what I mean? So, but it was quite cool to re-watch it, and and in terms of the Bloodline, it's a nice little segue here actually.
No, I need to check it out myself, and I was just going to go real briefly back to Legado del Fantasma. Okay. To your point, that the videos they were doing when they were first getting on the main roster with Selena Vega, and you see Escobar sitting in the chair with the two guys behind him, I thought that was very well executed. It was almost like a good Latin mob movie. I mean,
yeah, that's where I thought
these guys as legit, especially if they were going to be heel. But now as faces, they could still be smooth, but you couldn't really probably go that direction, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's the way that they dress, the way that they talk is what makes people dislike them as well as what they do. So, yeah, of course. As I say, nice little segue there to the Bloodline. But we, at the start of the show on SmackDown this past week, we had Cody Rhodes trying to play counselor to the Owens and Zayn. Owens still was like, I'm done with, basically said no and walked off. But the way the show ended, basically, thanks to KO, with a bit of help from KO, Sami Zayn managed to sort of stand tall, and then there was a hug moment, which the crowd absolutely popped for, to see KO and Sami Zayn together.
Yeah, it was over. I mean, talk about a hug being over, that was it.
The fact that it was a hug and the crowd exploded like that, it was really good. I mean, with this, you can kind of see it coming, but because of the way things have panned out in the past in terms of Jay and Sami, not long prior to this, I'm waiting for that sort of low blow from somebody, but it didn't come. But it was a cool moment to see these two together, which leads me nicely into Raw. They basically challenged the Usos for the undisputed tag team titles at WrestleMania. There was a bit of a no, but then Jay goes, yeah, we're going to do it. We can take out these two guys at once. For me, I don't know about yourself, there's a lot to unpack here, because I think there's a lot more going on than we realise, maybe, but we'll see. But what are your thoughts about KO and Sami coming back together?
Oh, I thought it was great. I think that's what they've kind of been teasing us with. And I like how you said that, Jay was teasing us before he agreed to the match. I think that's always important and a good element to anything regarding these type of matchups. But why not? It's WrestleMania. It'd be great to see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn teaming together. Whether they win, I'm going to save that for prediction. Like I say, it's so easy to try to think ahead, and I don't want to do that right now. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was another fantastic opening segment. I know everybody's like, oh, it's because of Bloodline, it's because Sammy, it's because of KO. Yes, it is. Okay, I can't help it. It's because it's been that good. It's a credit to these people. And
we want to see how this story ends. Is it going to be Mania? Or is it going to be SummerSlam? We have no idea of knowing at this point. There's so many theories I have in my head.
but I like how not only the hug on SmackDown led to it. You talked about Cody already, so I don't want to belabor that. I was just going to say I love how it got us started on Raw, and it was. Of course, all these guys can talk. The Usos have improved as far as their promos as well. I think it's brought out the best in everybody, not only the Bloodline storyline, but even this back and forth between KO and Sammy. It's been tremendous.
I think everybody involved, whether it would be Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, or, at this point, Cody Rhodes, Sammy, KO, the Usos. I mean, look where Jay and Jimmy were 2 years ago. I'm not saying they were bad, but obviously Jimmy had issues. Does still kind of have them a little bit. He also had to have knee surgery at one point. So Roman was being pushed as that, maybe 4 years ago at this point, but was being pushed as the babyface. But the fans were generally sort of booing him. I'm not saying he wasn't getting cheers, but it was very polarizing. And now, after what happened at Rumble, I would say 100% Roman is a heel now, whereas before, all that stuff went.
He was kind of getting cheered a little bit.
Yeah, it was a bit of the two. Whereas at the moment, I would say he's full heel. And I've said it before on this show, and I'm sure others may agree. They may not agree. I think we and you have both agreed with this, but correct me if I'm wrong in a moment. But this whole there's been Sammy, there's been KO and Drew, and all these people trying to take down the Bloodline. Ultimately, I think when the Bloodline does come to an end, because it will, it's going to be from within, and I believe it's going to be from Jey Uso, and it's going to stem all the way back to 2020, the way Roman treated Jey.
The way he made him feel little, like he wasn't good enough. I think that surfaces that's another great point, Benny, because like we were talking about with Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio as well, how much verbal abuse can you take, and even the physical abuse? Remember how viciously he got attacked. What was it, the Hell in the Cell? Where it was Jay and Roman, and man, it was finally Jimmy had to come in and say stop. But that's enough.
Roman was. I use this in air quotes now. Was quiet, crying, but then because Jay wouldn't quit, he then grabbed hold of Jimmy, put him into that guillotine, and Jay quit because of Jimmy. Very similar to what we saw with Edge and Beth in the Judgment Day at Extreme Rules this past year, but.
Was where there's some empathy, just enough for that moment, and then you turn on the unforgiveness, and it's still chair shot to Beth Phoenix. I mean, it's those kind of moments that's what sells you on the story.
Yeah, definitely. But I again, it's hard to know at the moment. I mean, we won't know until WrestleMania. It's
very difficult because you don't realize what directions it can go. I know we sound like a broken record, but it's true.
It's hard,
Where's this going to go? Yeah.
I mean, one way you could do it, and I don't want to say this is a consolation prize by any stretch, but say Roman wins at Mania. Let's say I would say the one way it goes, Usos lose the tag titles. That frees Jay up. And maybe Roman gets pissed that they've lost and then Roman's still champion. Meanwhile, maybe they reinforce the brand split, which they're not doing at the moment, and that's fine. I'm actually liking the way it's going at the moment. I know I've griped about it before, but the fact we're seeing others on other shows now, and they're not saying, although they do have the graphic come up saying they're a SmackDown person, so it's still a bit confusing. But however they go with this, but my logic is that maybe after Mania, maybe the borders close between the brands, so they can't do that anymore. Maybe Raw needs a champion because Roman does win. Maybe Roman does disappear for a month or two, but we can still facilitate this story via Jay and Jimmy and all in Solo and all this and Paul Heyman. But meanwhile, on Raw, maybe now when Roman comes back, he has one bout and he is the undisputed Universal WWE or WWE Universal Champion or whatever. Maybe we bring back an old bout for Raw to be for the Raw champion for Raw. But I feel like if the Usos lose the tag titles, Roman maybe at WrestleMania they all lose, but let's just say the Usos lose. It frees up Jay not to be buckled. Or I know he's always going to go back to his brother, but it's not going to be he can pursue singles titles. Is what I'm getting at. So whether this leads into Roman and Jay finally, because I feel that needs to happen at some point.
Yeah, I think there's unfinished business. No, you're onto something. I think there's definitely still some issues, and I think, well, I'm going to say it because we hadn't got to that part of Raw. But I think everything you're saying, and people that don't follow the bloodline or anything on WWE TV or the house shows, this is all relatable, folks. This is what makes it so good. What BenNy's laying out, what we're discussing. I mean, all this is possible.
Yeah. It's again, I don't know. It's just I've got so many theories. There's so many ways they could go with this, and I think that's what makes it why you need to see it.
It fun.
Yeah, and makes it fun.
Well, and hey, that's all we ever can get, BenNy, is ideas. I mean, to how we think it's going to go, and like I've said, I don't blame WWE for hearing our ideas and going, "Oh, we're going to go the opposite. We're just fooling with you guys."
Maybe so. Yeah.
Yeah, but, we never know.
Something I am enjoying at the moment. I don't know whether you are, the Otis and the Chad Gable stuff.
There's moments I'm enjoying, others I'm not, like with anything. But Otis is funny. I got to say, him and Maxine Dupree. I got to say, it'd be hard not to take her up on an offer. But I would tell you, Chad Gable's great. I think this is the moment maybe him and Otis break up, and I hate to say it, or maybe they still get together because we saw it on Raw. I mean, what's your thoughts on it? I'm still waiting to see how this thing plays out.
I think ultimately, for me, seeing Otis in the glasses and the hair slicked back and the jacket, and so I was laughing my ass off at it. To be honest,
it's laughable because Otis is so good.
He's good.
And he convinces you.
He's good in the ring and he's good outside the ring. So I do like him. He's a good. This goes back to the heavy machinery days in NXT, the stuff that was happening around Gargano and Aleister Black and him being called into the office for William Regal, and then William Regal's trying to find out who's took out Aleister Black, and anybody that follows NXT would have known back, who watched it would have known it was Johnny Gargano. But Otis losing his shit and going, it was me, I didn't mean to do it, I was this and it was that, and it turned out that actually he's talking about blocking the toilet, which is hilarious in itself.
That is hilarious. Now, Otis, that is, I'm going to have to go back and revisit because there's a lot of NXT I didn't get a chance to watch, so that makes me just want to watch that clip, even if it's the segment with him and Regal.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, it was good. But yeah, and then being him and Chad Gable, I think bounce off each other really well. But there is
they do
reports that they want to push Gable more as a serious wrestler. And to be fair, the guy can go in the ring. He's really good.
He's deserving to be pushed seriously because as much as the comedic stuff, there's a place for it. You said it. Chad Gable's a machine. This guy can not only go, but I think he deserves to get like a title. I mean, this guy has worked so much mid-card and underneath. I think he's due, man.
I mean, I don't want to compare him to Kurt Angle because obviously, but there are parallels here.
It's not fair. Yeah, but there are similarities because even Kurt on his show, it's not that I said it. It was Angle. He said that Chad Gable's like the little Angle. I mean, he is
the little Angle like that.
Or something like that. I thought he said because everybody's saying he's shorter, but even though Kurt Angle wasn't as tall as a lot of the guys he faced, but compared to Chad Gable's a little bit.
He may be smaller, but I tell you what.
I don't know if he called him little, but something like that. You'd have to go back and watch the interview. But he compared him.
He's not as tall as most, but I tell you what, when he does that deadlift German suplex, you're like, holy crap.
Oh my gosh. It's awesome. I mean, but it doesn't matter whether he's as tall. He can get in there and mix it up with the biggest of competitors. I mean, Chad Gable, doesn't matter how big they are. When you can go and you've got his background and his kind of work rate, it's going to be he makes even the bad matches decent or good. I mean, he really does. He's got that kind of ability.
Yeah, I think they're kind of teasing it, aren't they? And they kind of did it where Otis actually chose Gable, but then got distracted by what's her name
Maxine.
again? Maxine, thank you.
Yeah, Maxine. I remember this. Corey Graves said he doesn't blame Otis for the distraction.
How many more times can that happen? Now, again, does this happen at Mania? Probably not. I feel like this is going to be more of a...
Where she comes out and goes, "Oh, you've got to go the hand models, the pictures."
I let yeah, it's funny, man. And also a little side note here: the next pay-per-view after WrestleMania is called Backlash, not fucking WrestleMania Backlash. And I'm like, thank God for that.
It's actually Backlash. Can you believe it?
Oh my gosh!
Hey, guess where it's at? It's in Puerto Rico.
That's a bit right. I will say that was a bit random. I'm not going to lie, but it is what it is. Yeah, but even so,
I know it was. But I mean, they're the ones that booked it. I mean, it's Bad Bunny. That's why, because he's got a Puerto Rican heritage.
Yeah,
so
I don't mean it. I don't mean it as a negative. I was just like, it's in Puerto Rico. That's a bit random. Okay, fair enough.
Oh, I know. I know. But I kind of was thinking to myself, yeah, that was kind of out there. So I was like,
either way,
trying to.
The pay-per-view is called Backlash. I'm kind of hoping that when we get to Backlash, we have the old school swinging curves that they used to have on the old pay-per-views when they used to actually build sets. Not these all. Don't get me wrong. LED screens are cool; they look cool, but I miss the actual designs of sets and stuff. I love to see the swinging.
There are some stuff I miss from previous eras of wrestling, and I'm just gonna be honest, I'm not as crazy about the whole graphics of, even with Roman Reigns showing the big figure of himself before he comes out. I don't really care for that. I wish they would do away with it.
I think it's a good concept, but I definitely miss the set designs. I mean, one of my favorites, I think most people can probably agree to it to a degree, but the old SmackDown set with the fist coming out of it and stuff was so cool just to see. And again, I think there's a place for LED screens. I'm not disputing that, but like you said, augmented reality with the again, it is yeah, it adds to TV value, I guess. But I understand what you mean but when you see like SummerSlam, which I believe you were at this past year,
I was. Yeah.
It didn't look like they had many screens, so when they come out to us at home watching, we can see all these RK Bro and all that kind of stuff and Roman Reigns. But there doesn't seem a lot of set design there, so it seems quite bare to a degree. So I do miss the.
Yeah, it seems like it's pretty simplistic. Which, don't get me wrong, not everything has to be complex. But I do agree that there was something to be said about like the old sets, like you'd watch old Attitude Era Raws or even Raws before that, or old pay-per-views, and it's like, okay, these sets are incredible. Right. I mean, there's been some time and work, and I'm not saying that it's not like that now. Evidently, it is, but it's just like. There's just the differences, I guess, and everybody's got their preferences. Yeah.
I just think it would be nice to see the old pendulum back on the old on Backlash, but and just like those set designs. I know we have WrestleMania. They had like the ship a few years ago, and they had the roller coaster stuff.
In Tampa.
Yeah, and they had the roller coaster stuff. Where was that? California or something like that. So, but yeah. There is something to be said about set designs, and I think there is an element that it could add to what they've also got now. I mean, even SmackDown a year ago, they had those like archway things for Fox at one point. They were quite cool. I thought at least it was something.
They did. I'm starting to recall now that you're bringing it to my attention. Very neat. There's a lot of those designs that will live on in our memories because we remember them so fondly, and I'm with you. There's a lot of neat sets, but once again, I know it's a change of the guard, change of the times, however you want to say it. But it doesn't mean I always like it. That's what makes us all different. We all got our opinions. It doesn't mean it's always bad, but we just like what we like.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're winding down here, actually, we've done quite well today, Tyler, to be fair, in terms of time. It's been really good.
Yeah, we are. We're actually not going too lengthy. There's no overtime, I guess, or an extra stipulation, however you want to word it.
We'll see. Not quite an Iron Man match yet. Another couple of minutes yet to go for that.
Not quite the Iron Man match yet.
Okay. What's your thoughts on Logan Paul and Seth Rollins? They had a confrontation a few weeks ago, and then obviously they had Impulsive TV this past week on Raw, which was random in itself, but obviously that's his podcast. If anybody doesn't know, he does a podcast called Impulsive, that's how it's spelled. But him and Seth Rollins, even though he's a cocky turd, Logan Paul. I'm actually expecting this match to be really good at Mania. But I mean, in terms of the this past week on Raw, what are your thoughts leading into Mania at the moment?
I think it's going to be a great match. I think, like we've said before in previous weeks, it's going to be one that could actually steal the show. It's got the potential. It's definitely present between Seth Rollins, Logan Paul, and he is cocky. But I must say, and I think we all agree with this, he's making a great heel. He's actually reestablishing himself as a guy that's dislikable. Not that he's got to, because he's just naturally got that kind of arrogance, that attitude. Because he does it on his podcast, so why not bring it like Miz TV? I mean, even threw shade to the Miz backstage, which was clever as they were coming out. And but he got the best of Seth Rollins, showing the replay of knocking him out with the clown face, and then what do you know? They get in a brawl. You get all the official security, Adam Pearce out there, and Rollins gets knocked out again. So he gets the better of Seth, but it's a good way to give Logan, these small victories, because he's going to need all he can handle when it comes to the grand stage of them all.
I liked the fact that Seth let the crowd kind of sing his song, which is what's been a thing in the last few months. But then instead of actually saying anything, he just went for Logan Paul straight away. We've heard enough talking between those two, and I like the fact that we didn't have to sit through another. Not, and I don't mean. Well, I suppose I do. Sometimes I don't mind the 15-minute segment at the top of the show. You're building the show for the night and all that kind of stuff. But we've seen these two go back and forth the last few weeks, and I think there's enough. So for Seth to actually attack him and start a brawl, I was into it. I was like, yeah, cool. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Something was bound to happen after so long.
Well, the fact that he got a lucky shot on him the last time they met, they called it that one lucky.
He wanted revenge, and I thought it was kind of funny. We haven't seen the mic gimmick where somebody's messing with the sound control, and that was something else that also transpired. So, when Logan was talking his trash, but it wasn't even that. I'm with you. It was more the brawl and the action, what followed.
One last thing I want to bring to your attention. Obviously, you watched it, but I just want to get your thoughts on it. Really, we had Asuka and Belair team up against Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Very quickly, Carmella, not to be found. She was supposed to be there. I don't know much about what's going on there. I understand by all accounts that the match they're meant to be in, they're meant to be involved with WrestleMania in some shape or form. So I don't know whether Carmella was off or whether she was ill, or I don't know what was going on there. But
I don't know either.
But
it was a little odd, though, because you were thinking, well, Carmella and Chelsea Green just formed this team, or so we thought. And it's possible, like you said, with WrestleMania, maybe that altered the plans. But no, I thought it was pretty neat to see Asuka and Bianca be a team. It's not uncommon for opponents to have to be put into a tag team scenario. I like Chelsea Green with Piper Niven. I know it kind of, to a lot of fans, they probably like, well, how's this work? But I like the fact that they're different. And, Piper Niven, I think she's better when she's got more attitude. And I like that she's back as Piper. Nothing against Dewdrop, but come on. It's like the Pete Dunne analogy. We knew her, especially you all in the UK and even us over here. We know her as Piper. Come on. I mean, she was successful. But I'll tell you, BenNy, I'm just going to skip and cut to the chase. Bianca Belair, we knew she was strong. But my goodness, she picked up Piper and did the KOD.
Yeah,
my goodness, cool. and did it with ease. And it's nothing against Piper. I'm not disparaging her, but she's just a bigger lady, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Everybody's just built different, but for Bianca to be able to just do a deadlift or a squat type position, to be able to get her up and just slam her and execute that move was unbelievable.
Just reading some stuff on Bleacher Report quickly. But then in terms of the fact that she lifted Dewdrop up, not Dewdrop, sorry, my bad, Piper Niven, and did the KOD was really cool. I mean, again, I like Asuka. I like what she's doing. A little bit like with I think I'm more into the SmackDown Women's match than I am, and I mean that, as I said earlier, obviously I said I wasn't overly impressed with it, but I think I'm more into the SmackDown one than I am into the Raw one. This stuff with Asuka, but I'm glad that she kind of finally pulled the trigger, and there's going to be a bit more animosity between the two people. In terms of Bianca and Asuka?
There's going to have to be it. I mean, with a match of this magnitude. But no, I'm with you. I think everybody's, as much as we like Bianca and Asuka, everybody's looking more forward to Rhea and Charlotte.
Yeah, again, hopefully, maybe the matches will do it justice. I don't know, but at the moment, there's not been enough for me to be overly invested. I like Asuka's look, as I've already said, and hopefully, I don't know what's going to happen with it. But that's the problem. I'm not sort of like itching to see these matches. There are a few I want to see. There's a few that haven't been announced, and as we've already talked about on the show tonight. But it'd be interesting. I was going to say something earlier about Dominic very quickly. Was that wouldn't it be funny if they bring back the European title and put it on Dominic in that look that he's got going on at the moment?
that would be great. No, that would be just perfect, because with his look and the European title, I mean, that would definitely be a different kind of European champion, but I would be supportive of that type of idea.
Yeah, it's something that came into my head as we were talking about Dominic earlier. I meant to mention it, but I forgot. Just reading this, there's no particular reason why Mella wasn't on Raw. It does say, according to Bleacher Report, that she missed a couple of live events a weekend. So I know she was off for a little bit, wasn't she, because of some health stuff and some other stuff going on.
She was. I think she had some health challenges. So that explains it. I got to be honest, I haven't really caught up with a lot of the headlines.
I did scratch my head a little
bit.
I did scratch my head a little bit because she was teaming with Piper Niven in terms of Chelsea Green, but I was like, yeah, this is quite a good team, actually. That'd be quite a good trio with Piper Niven, Chelsea Green, and Carmella as like a trio.
It gives Piper Niven an opportunity like Chelsea would with Carmella, because Carmella's been established and didn't leave WWE, where Chelsea's coming back, and you got Piper Niven actually returning and reverting back to her older character. So I kind of looked at it that way. It also helped get each of them more elevated.
I would like to see that as a group. Actually, I think that'd be quite good. I think Carmella and Chelsea Green just fit together. It just works.
I mean, they're similar. Yeah.
In terms of Bray Wyatt, again, according to Bleacher Report, something that you said earlier. Apparently, there is an unspecified health issue, and it's not been cleared up yet. And again, this is on Bleacher Report, but it actually comes via Meltzer again. So again, there's no way to confirm any of this, obviously.
Well, you don't know, and I'm not just saying this because Meltzer's an easy target, but it's like with any of us, you got to be careful, because you're only getting so much of the facts. And I mean, that's the thing. I'll just be open about it. I mean, I even say that on the weekly report. I'm like, hey, I'm not burying anybody. I'll even take a shot at myself. We're only reporting based on other reports, pretty much.
We're just enthused about the WWE and the wrestling. That's all it is, and we want to talk about it, and that's what we do here on In the Corner.
Me too. But I always want to be, open about that, because I'm in that line of business too. So I want to be fair to everybody, and that's all. But yeah, we're having a great time. I mean, how can you not have a good time with BenNy Mac? Come on.
I appreciate it. Where can we find you doing your weekly report then, Tyler? And where can people follow you if they want to on the old Webosphere?
Oh, I appreciate that, Benny. Well, you can find me on Twitter at DustinTyler86. The weekly report is always normally released on Sundays. It just pretty much covers the top 5 wrestling headline stories involving anything to do, of course, with pro wrestling. You can also find me on WrestleBuddy, which that weekly report is presented by WrestleBuddy.com. You can find me also on this fine program, In the Corner. It's always a fun time with yours truly, BenNy Mac. And back when, also another friend of ours, the great Scottish Danny. We're hoping to have a new episode actually tomorrow. So I'm, doing a lot concerning Cy Powell's wonderful network. And don't forget about Josh DeBoard's great show, RSH. I believe they may have a new show later this evening. So I want to shout out to some of the other programs. I know Benny will run down some of the shows he's on. Also, the Rewind Wrestling Radio podcast. I'll get to join them again this week because due to my schedule, it'll be fun to join them again. The Uncensored Wrestling podcast, The Attitude Years, where we go back, revisit the old Monday Night Raws from that era. So we're hoping to do one of those soon. And then Standing Strong with Waylon Myers, kind of non-wrestling related, just a show about positivity. And I think I've got everyone covered because I try my best to remember everyone And that's it, man. And I'm sure there's how about you plug all the great stuff you're doing? We want to hear about that.
I mean, yeah, In the Corner, obviously here on SJP Raw Media, at In the Corner, WWE on Twitter. Also, they've been coming out actually now, is The Waiting Room with me and Si, just going through one leap at a time, episode by episode of Quantum Leap, the original. I'm sure eventually we'll get to the new stuff when it finally hits over in the UK. But obviously loads of other shows, WCW Nitro Nights, Chain Wrestling, back when, as Tyler's already mentioned, the Doctor Who pod is just wrapped up, I think, season 3. And obviously myself here trying to knock out a show at least once a week at the moment on a Wednesday. And also we're going to try and do a few more bonus ones. And like you said, regularly scheduled Hostilities RSH, all that's on at SJP Raw Media. So, Tyler, very much appreciate you coming on, man. I enjoyed talking to you. Hopefully we can chat next week some more WrestleMania. We are, no pun intended here, or no gimmick change here really, but we are literally on the road to WrestleMania, obviously.
Yeah, no, we are on the road. And hey, Benny, I was just going to say thank you, and you're very welcome. It's always a pleasure to join you.
Mate, I appreciate it. Thank you everybody for listening, and we'll see you all again next Wednesday for some more In the Corner with myself, and hopefully, fingers crossed, Mr. Dustin Tyler over there on Twitter. Thank you very much, Tyler. See you again soon.
Oh, you're welcome.